Are you an overthinker? Do unproductive thoughts consume you? Well, it doesn't have to be like this, says author Anne Bogel, who's here this morning with some tips on how to put decision-making fatigue to rest. And this is your third appearance on the show. This book is amazing. So let's first, what do you mean by overthinking? Because I think a lot of us can relate to this.
Oh, I have definitely found that to be the case in my conversations over the years with readers and at 1,000 Girls Nights, you know. Overthinking, we're talking about those thoughts that are repetitive, unhealthy, and unhelpful, where our brain feels like it's on a hamster wheel, working really hard, but accomplishing nothing. We're not talking about giving dedicated thought to serious decisions. When we talk about overthinking, we're talking about thoughts that just make you miserable, but don't accomplish anything.
And you stay fixated on them. And I love that you included this quote, far more than you may realize, your experience, your world, and even yourself are the creations of what you focus on.
Yes, we make our own worlds with our thoughts by what we choose to bring into our minds. It's so true.
I'm going to ask you to offer some tips in just a moment here, but why does this affect more women than men?
That's so interesting. Researchers aren't exactly sure, but it seems to be a combination of biology and socialization.
And so this is your call to us, male and female, give it up. Like you can put this overthinking to rest.
Well, yes, and there's no magic bullet to
Right.
overcome all kinds of anxiety, and I'll still always have overthinking happening probably every day, but there are things you can do to make a real difference. And I've come to believe that it's not just this obnoxious habit. You know, it's not like, oh, I forgot to turn off the light again.
Right.
What we do with our hours and our minutes is what we do with our lives. Overthinking comes at such a great opportunity cost, and I know nobody wants to spend a life characterized by overthinking.
Oh, there's too many other things to be doing. So let's go ahead and take a look at some tips that you can offer. One, set yourself up for success. What do you mean by that?
Oh, this is so interesting. Well, in the course of researching the book, I came to realize that so much of overthinking doesn't happen in the moment. It happened last night when we were up to 11:30, 2 hours past our bedtime. Or it happened when we forgot to eat lunch and now we can't concentrate and we're hangry and we can't put our attention where it deserves. We really can treat our physical bodies and develop mental routines that lay a strong foundation for solid mental performance.
I love this next one. Your thoughts can be your enemy or your allies.
Oh, yes. Well, in the book, I get a little heavy. I talk about how I really learned this with some PTSD after 9/11. But what that means is you can indulge the overthinking. Every thought we have develops a little deeper groove that our mind can just run down a little bit easier next time. And we can truly learn to train our thoughts to help us in our positive mental pursuits or to just go back to the negative, unhealthy, unhelpful.
Okay, I'm going to fly through these next three. Schedule worry time.
This is really interesting. So researchers have found that if you put your overthinking minutes in a little bucket, then your brain thinks, oh, I'll get to that later, and it's not as tempted to overthink during the day.
I love that. Give yourself permission to fail.
Oh, well, perfectionism is hugely tied to overthinking. And when we're panicked about getting something wrong, we paralyze ourselves. We can't move forward. But if you think, I'll just try it and see what happens, it's such a freeing mental attitude.
Okay, last one. Let the sun shine in.
Oh, well, something I really came to, well, first, when I started exploring overthinking, I was shocked at how many different ways it infiltrates our lives, far more ways than I anticipated. And what I found is we think and we think and we think ourselves out of happiness, but we truly can think our way into it. So in the book, I talk about learning to approach splurges because so many people aren't generally overthinkers until it comes to money.
Well, we appreciate that. You can meet Anne Bogel in person on March 20th at Carmichael's Bookstore, 2720 Frankfort Avenue. Her book signing begins at 7 p.m. and I cannot encourage you more. Go buy this book. We'll be right back.